If you have ever struggled with the chaos of Halloween and transitioning into the holidays, this might be the perfect video for you. So today I'm going to show you how I take down all of my decorations in less than a day and get set up for the holidays in a very enjoyable, relaxed, peaceful way where we can have a great day, but insanely productive. So if you've followed for the past month, you probably know that there was a ton of work that went into decorating this entire house. We had a great time. We celebrated Halloween. The house was a complete disaster because we thoroughly enjoyed ourselves on Halloween night. And on November 1st, all of this had to come down. So one tip I will give you from experience is get something cozy on, get a great playlist, and wear some comfortable shoes. I even have insoles in these shoes because in the past I have definitely hurt my feet trying to do this barefooted or just in socks. One goal that I had was to clean out all of my bins as well, to not just refill them. So a lot of them had glitter and just excess broken things at the, well, not really broken things, just little pieces and tidbits at the bottom, like extra leaves and stuff. So I wanted everything to be cleaned out. I put each respective bin in the area of which it should go. I wasn't sure if that would work out, but I really wanted to be organized. So I also grabbed a garbage bag and tossed out anything that was perishable, like the popcorn on the bar card. While decorating this season, one of the questions that I constantly see is, oh my goodness, how do you store all of this and how long does it take you to get all of this down? And I figured that I would prove it today. And I'm just as fast with the holidays. So I'm still really careful with everything that I put away. I wanted to tell you that there was not one casualty in every single item that I put away with all the fragile pieces. So I definitely have a system and I'll share it with you. And it's pretty quick. One thing that kept me super motivated was my playlist. So I created 6 different holiday playlists and a couple of them are super upbeat. Some even have like EDM music and pop music. I created a country Christmas playlist. So they're all in the Daily Grind Spotify account. They're totally free and they're like 3 hours long. So they're perfect. What I love to do is in between each of the fragile items, I will use things like that table runner and like tablecloths and blankets to make sure that everything's protected. You'll see me talk about that a couple times because it's one of my best tips and I think how I never end up breaking anything. And I'm just really methodical about the way that I put things into the bin. Although it doesn't really take that much time, I just try and fit the small items in between the little crevices to make the most out of the bin. So example, there was still room at the top of that bin, so I figured I could fill it with all the little extra tinsel that I had got, as well as the little flags from the circus and the fabric, and then put that tray back on top. No man left behind when putting the decorations away. Also, I made sure that these little flags were folded flat so that 2026 Angie would not be mad at 2025 Angie. Always remember that when you're decorating. Your next year's version of yourself is going to be really annoyed if you shove things in a bin and tangle all the lights. So I usually just do a couple big pieces per bin and I try and intertwine things like it's like a little puzzle piece, like a fun little puzzle piece. Anything that needed extra wrapping, I'll just grab some paper towel if I don't have an extra blanket or either a dishcloth or something to make sure that it doesn't break because things like martini glasses, we don't need those shattered. And what I love to do is I just bring the bins over to one singular area altogether and I don't put the tops on until I'm completely done because there is always room for one more. And I'll try and collect things like blankets and pillows and pumpkins all to one bin. So then it was on to the mantle. This was a lot faster. I think the most tedious portion of taking any decor down is always the most fragile, which will definitely always be the bar cart. The mantle had a ton of pieces on it, but a lot of it was like rope and greenery, and that can just get tossed right into the bin because it's not fragile at all. And I can just pack it down so that it fits completely in there. And then some things were like skeleton hands that are made of plastic from the dollar store, so it's all good. I think that's why I love shopping at the dollar store so much. Less pressure if you break something. One thing I wanted to remember was to put aside any of the greenery like this to the side to put in my spring decor bin because that can be reused and repurposed because I went and grabbed it from that Easter bin originally. So that way I'm kind of reusing and recycling throughout the seasons. And then any big items like that tombstone, they just get set aside and they go in one bin all together that just doesn't have a lid on it. Same thing with the sticks. They're too big to fit into a bin, so they just all stick out. So I have one bin that doesn't have a lid. and that creates minimal problems with dust. So the mantle, as well as everything on the coffee table, will go into one, and see how I kind of just folded the blanket in there. I do that a couple of times throughout this entire process. So I just put all of the bins together by the back entrance door, and I was gonna get some help to put all those away. And then it was on to the kitchen. So we're rocking and rolling. Great playlist. I switched to earbuds so that I could blast it a little bit more and not disturb the two boys in my household, being my dog and my husband. So this is how I fold the blankets. I'll do like one little portion, put a couple teacups and really fragile items in there, and then put another fold over top, and then do another layer of fragile stuff. So it's like a little bubble wrapping, but also storage for my blanket as well. So I wanted to keep all of the stuff that was on the tiered tray together. And for that, I just used one of our blankets, the black blanket, to do that. So again, I just put away my blankets with all of these, and that way it's completely secure and safe. And even things that aren't necessarily fragile but could be dinged, like this felt pumpkin that I got this year, I didn't want it to get scratched up. So I made sure that that was protected with the blanket. And things that are bigger, like that cauldron, I make sure that they're filled with other items as well. So really like a puzzle. Things like books and flatter items, I make sure that they're positioned along the side of the bin. And of course, you could do clear bins if you want to. My Christmas bins are clear. I just love these for Halloween. They're big and heavy. This was my workout for the day for sure. So this is what we're working with so far to give you an idea of how many we had. And then it was time to undo the railing, which was honestly not that bad. The most complicated part, and please remind me for the holidays and for next Halloween, please remind me because I'm going to forget. Don't let me do fairy lights again. They're fine to put in. They seem really easy, but they get tangled so easily without you look at them, and they get tangled. I think it's because of the wire wrapping, and also the battery dies on them. So let's just do a plug-in light next year, shall we? So it's super easy to get the railing undone once the lights were off, because it all just kind of hung on to itself throughout the little branches on our railing, which is so practical, and I can probably do the same thing for the holidays. And so satisfying, right? If you have any ideas or suggestions for the holidays for the railing, I'm all ears. Last year, I did a conveyor belt of all Christmas gifts coming down the railing with all my elves. It was incredible, but I want to switch it up this year. Meanwhile, the serial killer that lives inside my house was watching me. And then we moved on to the porch. So what I had done whenever I started this process is I actually wrote in my phone how long I was going to allow myself for each section of the house. So I wrote like bar cart, mantle, staircase, kitchen, porch, and I just put 30 minutes for each little respective area. So I kind of kept myself on that timer. And again, it was like a puzzle, like a game, and you just have fun with it instead of just stressing the whole time. But I promise you, a playlist and a cute outfit really helps. Can I just tell you, the most frustrating part of this entire takedown process was these dang fairy lights. They're really pretty when they're in, but I think next year I'm just gonna buy lights that I can plug in, because the lights that are on the mantle were the plug-in kind. Not only do they not die, they don't tangle. It's so much better. So I just took down all the vines. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this room for the holidays. I think I have an idea. So how I turned this into an entire garden, like Morticia's solarium, I have an idea of how to make like an experience for the porch, because I feel like the porch is perfect as an experience situation. You know, you walk in, it can be its own little entity of the house. It's incredible. So anything like the vines as well as the floral picks and sticks, I just folded them to fit into the bin because they don't really get broken up at all if you do that. And then this again was all for the spring box. So I made sure that that went downstairs into the Easter box. I was so happy I didn't have to go get the ladder. I was able to reach all the vines that I had put on top of the rafters. Being very careful not to break anything. And also I had this weird irrational fear that like a spider was going to fall on top of my head. I honestly cannot believe I was able to reach all that and get it down. So So I had to reattach all of the light bulbs that we had undone for our fort, take down all of these big vines, all of the little ivy vines, and then of course take down the fort. I left the fort up right up until the wee hours of Halloween. Oh, and a lot of people on TikTok and as well as Instagram were asking if I started on Halloween taking it down. Heck no. We enjoyed Halloween right up until 1 o'clock in the morning. So the Halloween day routine video that I posted, that was literally filmed on Halloween day, hence why it went up I think at midnight that night or maybe 11:30 that night because we just enjoyed the full evening. So you really did see that video in real time. And then the next day, this is all filmed on November 1st. How cute is my cuppy? So this is a little hibiscus like probiotic drink. Again, I'm trying to not have caffeine, so no pre-workout for me, no coffee for me, just sticking to tea and healthy drinks. So I didn't want to throw out those DIY vines that I had made. I threw some out from last year and I should have kept them because the porch would have been that much more chaotic, but we can always make more next year. So I just stored those in a garbage bag and then I was going to put the garbage bag in a bin just so that they were really compact. Bill had to go into the bin as well. If you know, you know. And then I usually just top it with all the vines and kind of use that as padding as well. So one thing that I did is that clutch, the glass dome that I just put in, I use that as storage and protection for my little Lego guy here. So I'll use different items to protect. So my whip toppers, they go into my big pumpkin pot, things like that. Same with this little guy, he needs to be protected. So I grabbed the candles, put them back on the mantle. We have a clean house for 0.5 seconds before it turns into chaos, and then I enlisted some mussels. My least favorite part is bringing all the bins into the garage and stacking them, so Andre helped me with that. Some of them are really, really heavy. I mean, I carried them all there, but to get them into the garage and stack them, heck no. So then it was time to vacuum, get all the dust and everything out, and I can't believe how much dust I got in the vacuum. Very satisfying. I also washed the floors, cleaned everything up because, I mean, does it matter? Not really, but we're about to mess the floors up anyways with taking out all the Christmas trees. We're gonna have pine needles everywhere. It's gonna be crazy, but might as well start with a clean slate. Carl was truly helping. He was like, "What can I carry, Dad? What can I help with?" Not really. And I think he's still mad at us about his Halloween costumes. By the way, I think the boxer won the little debate. If you didn't see the Halloween day routine, go check it out to see Carl's multiple costumes. So yeah, any of the bigger items like that, they go into an empty bin in the garage and they just get put right on top. I kept all my pumpkin seeds, so I gutted out a little pumpkin. Look how many I got. Dried them all up, washed them on Halloween night, and then it was time to use said pumpkin that I gutted out for the chippies. So we have a new chipmunk and he's so stinking cute and he loves the red peanuts. Oh my gosh. So I feed these to him from my hand. I did it the other day. It's just they mistake fingers for full shell peanuts, so you got to try and go on the side, or they don't really bite. They just kind of gnaw down on your fingers, so you got to be careful. So it's a little bit chilly outside right now. I figured I would pop out there. I saw a couple chippies hanging out, so I figured Miss Patty could maybe be out there, but this new one that I just met, so cute, and I decided to name him Chip, and you'll see why. And he's honestly, like, some are better looking than others. This one is incredible. So there is a Dale out there somewhere. He was my chipmunk last year. He came back in the summer a little bit, but I haven't seen him, especially because of the construction. So I put this out and I was like, "Where are you?" And he came around the corner. He's so cute. I was trying to show him, like, "Look, I got stuff for you. It's not just a pumpkin." He's a very happy chipmunk. He hops. So he's got this little black nose and he's so tiny and the fluffiest little tail, but like his little body is so stinking cute. Look at it, look at the little black dot on his nose. He's so cute. So when they know me, they're not scared to come. So I knew that he knew me, not super well, but this one loves the red peanuts. He's like, "Do you have more?" I'm like, "Look, they're in here." The sweetest little guy. Also, my parents just dropped this off. Oh my gosh, I can't even. I wanted him so bad. It was time to deck the halls. So I moved the little side table to the other end, and then I put this tree, here's my logic. I put this tree in this room. This tree was not in this room last year, but this tree can change colors. So I will link all the trees that I have. This is one of the best trees I have because look, you can't even see through it. It's such a good tree. I wish they came in different sizes because I would honestly probably buy more. And you can control it from your phone. It's so good. I love it. So I set the setting to that. It's like a warm twinkle light. And the branches are all adjustable. But look how thick it is. It's beautiful. And then just a couple candles. So pretty. And then I put the second biggest tree that we have in this corner. Again, he was not in this spot last year, but I'm trying to come up with a plan. I really hope I don't have to move them, but I'm thinking I'm going to stick to it. So this one's a 4-piece one. This one's 9.5 feet tall. And with the height of our ceilings in this house, I mean, I can go high. Like I have a really big tree that I'm going to pull out probably in the next video, and she's tall. Like I need a big ladder for that one. Andre turned on the lights for me because the sun was starting to set. I go into full Hulk mode. I don't know who I become whenever I put away and put up decorations, but again, this is all in the same day. So I went from about 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. doing all of this just for perspective, and I knew that my satisfying moment would end with putting up the Christmas tree. So the 4th piece, I struggled a little bit to get it on. And then I just adjusted and fluffed all the branches, but really not that bad, the fluffing that was necessary. So I will link this one as well. I think this one was from Home Depot. I think you could get them both at Home Depot. Anyways, I'll link a couple different versions. My hair got stuck. I had Sherrick's, it was real life. Andre was laughing so hard at me. Incredible. So it looks absolutely beautiful in the house now, especially with the warm light of the Christmas trees. Ta-da! I love it so much. So I will see you guys very soon for lots of holiday videos, lots of Disney stuff coming too. So I love you guys so much, and I will see you very soon. Bye, dudes.